welcome to episode 41 of the Swimrun Show podcast. I'm Mike, and it's approaching the end of January. We've got a special episode featuring all the UK races that we know of in 2025. So if you are looking to enter a race in the UK or Northern Ireland, in fact, then listen up. Here we go. But before that, of course, we always have a before that. We've had quite a few questions from Mark. Great questions as well. Mark he did Dovey X Swimrun last year in Abu Dhabi, of course, and did well. And yeah, he's thrown us some great topics. One in particular is a long question that I could talk for a while on. However, I'm going to try and do it quite quickly without missing anything, but just to get it done and all answered. And the first two are really easy, I think. So here we go. Before we go through the race calendar, first question: which size keel should I pick? The Arc keel, of course, is a great pull buoy. What determines it? Weight, leg length, swimming ability? ? Well, all of those three things, and it is tricky in some ways because they've got more and more. They just used to have the Arc keel original, just one. Now they've got 5 different sizes. So you've got the keel Mega, of course, which is the biggest. That is a big daddy. Keel Plus, the keel regular, original, I suppose. The keel Small, and the keel Mini. Wow. Now, Mark, I know he's a big guy. He's like 6'2", or he's definitely over 6 foot, and he's built more like a rugby player than Sebastian Coe, for example. So I would say, Mark, for your size, and you're a decent swimmer, of course, your leg length, your weight, I'd go for definitely the Keel Plus, maybe the Mega. You know, you might be better off if that's a bit too. It's your first keel. But I know similar sized people go for the Keel Mega quite very successfully, in fact. So Keel Plus or Keel Mega. If you want to travel around a lot and you've limited on space, I suppose, and you want a small bag for your pull buoy, maybe go Keel Plus instead of Mega. But that's the only kind of consideration really in terms of going down a bit. I use the Keel original because that's what I bought a long time ago and it still works. So I'm not getting a new one at the moment. I probably would if and when I do upgrade, and I'll probably get a Keel Plus in the future, but I'm smaller than you, Mark. So there we go. That's the answer. I do like the look of this Keel Mini for maybe if you've got a really small bag and you want to cram a pull buoy in. That would be cool. And it's relatively cheap. Just to give a kind of comparison, the Keel Small looks about the same size if you know the Hoob Big Boy pull buoy, which used to be used, pre-Arc days a lot. You still see it out and about, but that was the biggest kind of pull buoy you used to see. I remember some people double them up that have 2 Hoob Big, I think they were called Big Boys, stuck together. Anyway, that's one Hoob Big Boy is about the same as an Arc Keel Small. The Keel Mini, I'd say, is just a little bit bigger than that kind of regular pull buoy you see at the kind of swimming pools, and a much better shape. The shape is a big difference in the Arc stuff. So there we go. There's other pull buoys available, of course, and we have no connection financially or any kind of sponsorship from Arc. We've just giving a shout out to good gear based on experience. Next question. Do you know if anyone has raced in a shoe with this type of lace thing on? And he's linked to a La Sportiva shoe, which has a BOA lacing system. I believe it's the Jackal 2 BOA mountain running shoe. Just looking at the picture. Yeah, it's like a dial thing. You might have seen it. I don't know of anyone. I've not noticed anyway. I'm sure people have used it, though. I can't see why not. I really can't. They look great. They look like good shoes for like the Paddy Buckley round or the Frog Graham round. La Sportiva advertise them as mountain running shoe for ultra long distances. So maybe maybe Rockman as well, Engadin. Yeah, it looks good. I can't see there'd be a problem with the lacing system. I mean, maybe. I don't know how strong the actual BOA dial. It looks like it's plastic. Could that snap? I don't know. If you've raced with a BOA on a tough, challenging swim run, do let us know and tell us how it was. Last question, which is a long one. I'll dive into it a little bit. So, fueling, kit, and carrying it all. Cabbing down for long runs. I'm really liking the more laid-back approach to swim run and don't want to be formulaic, but I'm thinking there might be tips to make it easier. Also, I can't get my swimrun wetsuits off unaided, so the cabbing down bit could be a challenge when going long. Also, with the vest and the belt, floats and other bits, it looks like a lot of faff, but I haven't seen anyone do it. But a 14-kilometre run in a wetsuit on a hot summer day could be tough. So that was the crux of the content of the question. And yeah, there's a lot there. You've got to find a way to do it, basically. In terms of the cabbing down, some people, the likes of John Littlewood, I know, and Chris Goodfellow, and some other folks have wetsuits that are cut at the shoulder. So it's a lot easier to take your wetsuit down if you've got a completely armless wetsuit, swimrun wetsuit. You can go to the elbow, of course, but it's still a little bit tricky for some folks. So I guess the solution, if you can bear the temperatures in the water with a completely armless wetsuit, so cut at the shoulder, like the Arc Uto, is it called the Arc Uto Air? Or anything cut at the shoulder. I know Head have got some good ones too, and no doubt many makes out there. That's one solution potentially. Might be challenging on a really cold or long swims. But yeah, try that, Mark. Other stuff, the whole carrying the kit. We covered this a little bit with Helen Wickmar, the CEO of Arc Sports, of course. Yeah, the things like the kangaroo top, you can carry kit in the front of your vest there. I used all sorts of combinations based on my kind of adventure racing, ultra mountainy type experience, bum bags, all sorts of things going on. And it takes a bit of practice to manage your kit, definitely on the long swim runs. Don't be put off, guys. The short ones you don't need. I mean, some of the races, like Uto, even the World Series on Uto, I think I might have unzipped on a couple of the runs, but I've never cabbed down on Uto. I would have to be quite hot because the longest run's about 4.5K or something, and it's quite a bit of it's in the shelter from the trees through the woods there. So don't be put off by all this kit faff. So yeah, it's one of those things, Mark. You've got to kind of find a solution for yourself. But yeah, try the completely sleeveless wetsuit if you are going to buy one in the future. I should say, actually, I sometimes forget the double zip, the zip on the front and the zip on the back wetsuit option. That makes it generally easier to cab down. I don't need it because I can cab down with just the front zip quite happily. But yeah, I know a few people do use that, and yeah, I sometimes forget about that because it was kind of came in as a popular option and then phased out a little bit. But yeah, definitely still used and still very valid. So maybe that's an option too. Maybe get an Arc or similar kangaroo top, and yeah, you'll get slicker. There isn't a quick fix with that. The pull buoy, there's quite a lot of videos in terms of, and just looking at photos, particularly, well, there's loads of great racers, great race photography. Look at the front of the pack and see what they're doing with the pull buoys and how they're managing the kit. The videos, in particular, the Erteleur video footage, it's got some really good demonstrations of being fast with kit. Another thing, paddles. With a lot of the swimrun races, they have a pretty tight race vest, which you can actually, most of them, you can put your paddles down your race vest and they stay there. So that's another top tip. Anyway, I've done a good bit on that question. I think we've covered most things. Mark, I'll probably hopefully see you in 2025 and we'll have a good old chin wag. So let's dive into the races for 2025 in the UK and Northern Ireland. So here we go. 3rd of May, it all kicks off in Liverpool, the Eliminator, of course. 11th of May, Tallyclin, the Eliminator, is coming to Wales. Mitchett, which is organised by Southeast Swimrun, on the 18th of May, down within the M25 London area. St Austell, beautiful spot down in Cornwall, 24th of May, organised by Mad Hatter Sports, of course. As keen as mustard, we've got the Neen Valley Festival on the 7th and 8th of June. I know Fenland Runner are involved in supporting that one. Big shout out to Fenland Runner, who sent us a few prizes for Tallyclin Swimrun last year. 14th of June, there's a few things. Studland, down on the south coast, organised by iSwimrun. 14th of June as well, Great North Swimrun. I've noted they've dropped their long distance course this year. 15th of June, Egham, that's down Southeast Swimrun, of course, down in the London zone somewhere. Gower, Swimrun Gower, organised by Gritty Rascals. They're bringing back their long course. Well, sorry, they're bringing back the original long course. It was organised by Brecker, of course, back in the day. So that's great to see. I'm sure there'll be a few tweaks as well. As keen as mustard at Grafton Water, 29th of June. Roseland, big one, 5th of July. If you like your swimming, get involved in that one. Coastal swimming for sure, organised by Mad Hatter Sports, of course. Clevedon Marine Lake, a community-based swim run, 19th of July. 26th of July, Pembroke, the Wales swim run, organised by Activity Wales Events. 17th of August, try and avoid Manchester at all costs. However, if there's a swim run, I'll be there. Well, no, I probably won't be there actually, but Manchester Swim Run, 17th of August. 24th of August, Loch Earn in Northern Ireland. Great to see it over there. Who will bring a swim run to the Republic of Ireland? Ars Silly, 31st of August. Well, they've got a few days, but the big one's on the 31st, I'm pretty sure. Jersey, same day, 31st of August, Swim Run Jersey. Of course, another Brecker Legacy event. Rocky Horror Swim Run, same day, 31st of August. That's down on the Devon coast, I believe. Then into September. September's always a big, big month for swim run. 6th of September, the Gribbin down in Cornwall, Mad Hatter Sports Events. Liverpool, the Eliminator second edition at Liverpool is 6th of September too. As keen as mustard, Buell Water, 7th of September. And then the Eliminator is coming to Abu Dhabi, 13th of September. I've been working on that course for a while. It is awesome. 14th of September, Swimrun Oxford. Great stuff. Another one, 14th of September, Mitchett, organised by Southeast Swimrun, Jude and Paul down there. All of the Southeast Swim Runs are kind of 2.5K, 5K, and I believe they're introducing a 10K on one of the days. But yeah, generally short, should we say. Coniston, Swimrun Coniston, organised by Gritty Rascals, 21st of September. That's the big one up in the Lake District. And as keen as mustard to close down the season, as far as we know, Grafton Water Survivor, 28th of September. So that is 26 different race dates with maybe 27, with no doubt several distances within most of those dates. So you're looking at 40 plus, maybe even 50 different races across all the distances and variations. So a lot to go at in the UK. There's quite a few training kind of sessions, workshops, that kind of scenario. I know I've got the dates for Southeast Swim Run. I've got my dates penciled in. We'll have one on a Tuesday in Liverpool, which will suit the locals. I'm trying to bring in to all of the venues I'm operating in this year. I'm trying to bring more locals in, more of the triathletes who are the local clubs who have in the past have perhaps, maybe a little bit scared or wary of the swim run curious, but they're not quite bitten the cherry. So, Tuesday, 29th of April, we'll be doing a swim run training session. 6th of May in Tallyclin, another Tuesday. I know Keris Triathlon might get involved there. And then 1st of June, Abu Dhabi that's a Sunday. That's penciled in for the Sunday. That'll be a lot of fun. So lots of trainings going on. Then Southeast Swimrun, I think they've got one on the 11th of May in Keys Lake, 1st of June, Longside Lake, and 7th of September, Keys Lake. Jude and Paul, of course. Check out the episode we recorded back in, it must be about a year ago. Oh, that reminds me, the podcast is a year old. Yes, we've made it to the second year of the podcast. Congratulations for listening, if you are listening. And yeah, thanks for being there, and just keep spreading the word, and liking, subscribing, and just entering races and keeping involved in the sport. And it's also another round of, it's 10 years since the first swimrun race happened in the UK, official swimrun race. I know there's been a few things that look like a swimrun, but the first kind of swimrun as we know it, the Swedish kind of model, was Bräcke Buttermere. Wow, that was a tough course for sure. And that happened 2015. Great race. I think there was only about 13 teams on the start line. Only one in the mixed category, and they finished, so that's good. So there we go, a couple of anniversaries. So, and we're still going, a year in. Let's keep it going. Keep up the motivation, and I do love it. That's why it does take a bit more time than I'd like, and I'm not sure it's that productive, but there we go. Big shout out to more races over in Europe. Ertelö have released Germany, Swimrun Germany in I believe it's the north part of Germany, Ruga, not sure on the pronunciation. Of course, adding Åland in Finland to their series, so that's great. It's good to see more European World Series races. My Swimrun Championships have got 12, I believe, European races in their series, with a couple of all sorts going on, ultra and backyard ultra and everything in between, including the Eliminator Abu Dhabi, of course, and all over the place. Swimrun Poland is back. I think they had a break for a few years. And so that's good. Just to mention, we lost a couple from the UK calendar. Love Swim Llanberis, of course, the first ever swimrun in Wales, organised by Chloe Rafferty. If that's not happening this year, I know Chloe does intend to bring it back in 2026, so that's good. The Thames Young Mariners course, I don't think that's happening this year. And as mentioned previously, the Great North Swimrun long distance has been dropped. I'm guessing it was because there weren't enough people signing up for the effort that went into it. But that's not us, guys. We're definitely signing up. I'm going to try and do 5 this year. I think 2 or 3 in the UK and 2 overseas. But we'll see. I will mention which ones, and I might get some Swimrun Show podcast t-shirts specially made for some meetups. The only one I've signed up to so far is Uto. You won't be surprised, as it's my favourite race. But I've got a couple of UK dates penciled in. More to come on that. And we have a discount offer from Joachim Wolf of wolfwear.se. Of course, we had him on a couple of weeks ago, and he's offering, already they offer a massive sale on loads of swimrun equipment. If you're new to swimrun and you haven't got a clue about the gear, go over to Wolfwear. Wolf is 2 Fs, .se, and check all the gear out there. They've got most things. Some things, you think, what is that? Those little foamy things you put in your laces. I saw someone had those at the Eliminator in Liverpool, actually. All sorts of stuff. And a big sale on at the moment there, and you get an extra 10% on top of the sale price if you use the code The Swimrun Show Podcast with capital letters. So it's the with a capital T, Swimrun with a capital S, Show with a capital S, and Podcast with a capital P. If you sign up to our newsletter, weswimrun.org, there's a newsletter subscribe thing. I'll send it out in there as well. So there's no kind of spelling problems or capital letter issues. So thank you, Joachim, for that. What else is happening? I wanted to give a little mention, just a bit of fun, really. What's the longest individual swim section within a swimrun race in the UK? And I think It's at Roseland, a 2 kilometre swim. No doubt it'll feel longer because it's in the sea off the Cornish coast. So, yeah, I suppose it's minimum 2K. They've also got several 1 kilometre swims within their race. It's a biggie on the swimming, that one, over 8K of swimming. What's the longest single run section on a swim run race in the UK? 20.12 kilometres, we believe, is the longest. That's at Swimrun Jersey, organised by 3D Events, of course. It's a long goal. It's nearly a half marathon, for sure. Very close to it. What's the biggest percentage of swimming? The SWIFA factor, the swim factor. I know Paul McKenzie mentioned one of his, at least one of his, is 50% swimming down at Southeast Swimrun. Paul and Jude organise those, of course. And yeah, they're only short races, so it's not like too taxing, but 50% is still half swimming. In terms of our ones, the Eliminator, Liverpool is only 20, just over 20% of swimming. Tallyclin and Abu Dhabi are going to be 35% of swimming. So again, not massive courses, of course, at all, but a good percentage of swimming. So that's good fun. It's not all about the running, of course, at all. And I really do want to focus on the swimming this year because I've mentioned before, get your swimming strong, guys. Get it strong as you can, and your running will be even stronger. So that's my top tip for the year. That's about it. Happy January still, and see you soon.